Thema unterhalten.
Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It's your boy ACS, and apologies, missed a week, fell under the weather, things happen, but I'm back. And so this week, obviously, a lot to talk about. Football season is almost over. Give my thoughts on the final two teams left, just what I think about that matchup this we got coming up in about a week and a half. A little bit of Atlanta United news. Georgia men's basketball team, maybe they're not as prepared for prime time as we might have previously thought. Got themselves some key wins earlier in the season, and then, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. The Hawks as well. The Hawks running into some tough times. They on a loser streak, bro. A loser. 6 games, bro. We're going to talk about that. And a bunch of other stuff, right? Got a little bit of Braves news. Falcons sort of bring back an old/new defensive coordinator. All that and more after the break. You're watching Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
IE Sports Radio fans, be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
All right, what's up, y'all? What's good? What's good? Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sports. It's your boy ACS, and I'm back, y'all. Again, I said this in the opening. Apologies last week. I was real sick. It was going around. Obviously, if you live in the South in Georgia, you know that the little bit of sort of winter storms we've been getting off and on over the month of January. And so that's just been hitting. And I got sick. I was sick pretty good for a couple of days. And then it passed on to the wife. And then, it passed around the household. So pretty much sick all around. So I didn't get to go last week. Felt bad too, because I had to hit Larry up and it was really close to showtime. And I was just like, I was going to try to give it a go, but I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it. So anyway, I'm back. I'm feeling way better. The weather here is still stupid. It was literally in the 29 degrees sometime. I'll put it like this. It was 65 degrees today in Georgia. 60s, bro. That's how come people be sick. That's how come sickness travels around like that. When you're going from to 20s, like literally, I get off work in the morning because I work third shift, and it's 29 degrees, right? And then by the time the afternoon gets here, it's 60. That's a no-go for your respiratory system. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's basically what's going on with your boy. Obviously, football season is the end of it is fastly approaching. Got about a week and a half left before the final game of the season, which will be Super Bowl with the matchup again between Kansas City and damn, I'm tripping right now. The Eagles. I'm tripping. No disrespect to the fans. Cole Willie. Yeah, don't help, man. What up, Terry, man? Arizona Sports. Appreciate y'all stopping in. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, man. Just got over being sick. Hey, man. It is terrible. I think when you get to be my age too, you get to be like a big old baby, man. Just can't do anything, bro. You're like when I used to be in my 20s, if I got sick, it would hit me, but I could still move about. You get this old, and it's like, nah, man, go ahead and take a couple days off and lay down. And that's exactly how that goes. So, yeah, no, Super Bowl matchup. I'll give you some thoughts real quick. I know this isn't exactly Georgia sports, but I love sports in general, or else I wouldn't even be here. So, I think the matchup is look. The Kansas City thing is obviously something that like unless you're a Kansas City fan, you're gonna hate those guys. I mean, people in general in sports like to see greatness, I think, but on a certain level, right? It has to be greatness on your terms, right? And so that's what, and I'll admit to being like that as well. I think all sports fans are like that when you look at it. I also think it's one of those things where we just saw greatness when it came to football over 2 decades with the New England Patriots, Brady, Belichick, all of that kind of stuff. And to see it happen again so fast after that one ended, it's sort of like people they want some variety out there. You know what I mean? And so, of course, Kansas City's going to have haters. Do I want to see them? I didn't even want to see them in this game again. I'm not going to be a lie about it. I told you I like to keep it a buck. Not being a hater. I'm just saying, man, let me see something else, but what we are witnessing is great. And I know there's a lot of people who like to go to the refs and all of this stuff there to get help. And some of that stuff could be considered truth. But I think also, when I think about those situations, when that game against Buffalo, I only saw one call that I thought that should have went another way, and that was the 4th down play where the 2 refs both run in from opposite sides of the field, and one of them is giving them the first down, the other one is not. And then you got your Kansas City players walking in front of the ref as he's trying to keep his straight beeline to where he thinks the ball should be spotted. So there's a lot of stuff there. And it is what it is. The game's over with now, and Kansas City's won, and they've made their way back to the big game again, trying to do something that's only been done twice before when it wasn't called the Super Bowl. I understand that, but it has been done before. But they're out here trying to get that three-peat, man. And then standing in their way is the Philadelphia Eagles, who was a powerhouse. What happened with them playing against Washington? The turnovers for me, I think once turnovers start happening like that, and the morale of the team sort of takes I ain't gonna say a nosedive, but takes sort of a hit or dip or anything like that. I think you're gonna see sort of what Philadelphia was able to do with those turnovers. I mean, 28 points, man. 4 turnovers by the Washington Commanders that led to 28 points. Take that away from Philadelphia's score on the game, and the game's a lot closer. I mean, they scored 50 plus points, but again, I don't, it's good to me that I haven't seen so many people calling that such a blowout or a beatdown when it just was simply the turnovers were the difference in that game. And that's what's going to go down in history as what happened between the Eagles and the Commanders. So the division rivals are playing, and so now we have our Super Bowl matchup set. Right now, if I had to pick, I'm not, it's picking against Kansas City is garbage time, right? Anybody who's done that in the past, I don't know, few seasons, you look like fools when you do that, right? So, I mean, and obviously, can the Eagles beat them? Yes, they can. Will they? That's a different story for, a different time. I think next week's show, I'll give you my pick since that'll be the last show before the actual big game is played. So, yeah, man. That's just, and then as we move into the NFL offseason, there's going to be a lot of stuff. Rule changes. I did want to talk about, they talking about reviewing slides and things of that nature. I think that's good. I think that's the more stuff that you can challenge. And I know that makes the game longer and stuff like that, but the more times you can get it right, I think the more chances you can give yourself to get it right, I think helps the game in certain aspects. So I think reviewing the slide is great because we all know why this came about. The Patrick Mahomes slide where he was not touched by either one of them defenders, but they still drew a flag for unnecessary roughness. So that can be a good thing, man. It can be a good thing. I don't. Yes, it slows the game down. It adds more time, but I think again, any opportunity that you can give yourselves to get certain calls correct, even if that calls for reviewing those things and changing things, I think that's a good idea for the sport, and I think it should continue to move in that direction. Whatever else they think they need to review this offseason, the rules committee, as far as next season, what they're gonna, any kind of changes they're gonna make to the rule book. So there's that. All right, so let's move in. Georgia sports got a little bit of news for Atlanta United. Not much, man. Not much. I can't even lie. First of all, man, Miguel Almiron returns to Atlanta. This was this morning. I saw this. This is why I was prepping the show when I was still at work this morning. The rumors are confirmed. Miguel Almiron is set to leave Newcastle United and return to Atlanta United. The transfer fees are reported to be around $12 million, and he would occupy one of Atlanta's 2 open designated player slots. This is on Yahoo Sports. It was nearly 6 years ago when the Paraguayan national traveled the opposite direction, forsaking the 5 stripes for the Magpies. The transfer fee then was £21 million, a record for both the club and the MLS. Almiron's return is a heartwarming moment for the Atlanta soccer community, making a full-circle journey for one of their favorite players and rekindling triumphant memories of their glorious 2018 season, which, if you didn't know, it was like their inaugural season. They straight won, the MLS Cup, too. Also, quick, they had a sort of a preseason game, not really an official preseason game, but on Saturday, Atlanta United kicked off its preseason schedule on the road at Finley Stadium. Atlanta United fell 2-1 to the MLS Next Pro side after 2 45-minute halves. Says a new coach, Ronnie Delia. I get irritated to lose in my body, but at the same time, I understand this is the first game, Delia said. We are here to practice. That's where we are, but we want to win at the same time, and that's why we're a little disappointed. Obviously, new coach there and all that kind of stuff going on with the United. So as the season gets closer, let's see what I find this right here. It's put up. I always like to bring up what they got coming up with the let's see what they got coming up with the preseason games that are sort of making their way to us. That's not nowhere near what I just did. Okay, y'all, give me just a second. I'm having some technical difficulties here. What the hell is going on with that? Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, some of my okay, here. Well, I thought that was gonna help me. It's definitely not. Okay, this is not. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to something else. Let's go to Falcons, man, because that's becoming a bit more aggravating than I had anticipated right there. Let's do this. All right, Falcons, man. Falcons. Not really much. Like I'm saying, man, we got a new defensive coordinator who was actually the old defensive coordinator that they brought back, Ulbrich, back to the Falcons. Got a couple new signings and things, so we'll just jump right into that right quick. Let's see. What? All right. Let's see. All right. Raheem Morris, Falcons bring back Jeff Ulbrich as DC. As you know, Jeff Ulbrich was with the Jets. Sort of when Saleh was fired, he took over as the interim head coach and finished out the season with them boys. And then sort of he didn't go back there. Came back to Atlanta. So Raheem Morris named Jeff Ulbrich as his defensive coordinator when Morris became the interim head coach of the Atlanta Falcons in 2020. On Saturday, Morris, back in another stint with the Falcons, tabbed Ulbrich as his defensive coordinator yet again. He replaces Jimmy Lake, who was fired on January 11th after just one season with the team. Ulbrich, 47, most recently had been the interim head coach of the New York Jets. He took over after the firing of Robert Saleh on October 8th. The Jets went 3-9 after the move. We all know where that led. Situation was very terrible up there. Aaron Rodgers got there to make all those moves for him, and then you saw how the season turned out for the Jets. Fine. Under Ulbrich, the Jets' defense was top 5 in defensive EPA in 2022 and 2023. Morris and Ulbrich have a long history. They were on the same staff in Atlanta from 2015 to 2020 under head coach Dan Quinn. When Quinn was fired during the 2020 season, Morris was named interim head coach, and Ulbrich became defensive coordinator. Ulbrich played in the NFL as a linebacker for 10 seasons. The Falcons struggled defensively in 2024 under Lake, who came over from the Los Angeles Rams with Morris. Atlanta had the highest opposing quarterback completion percentage in the league, as well as the second lowest number of sacks and QB pressures in the league. So this looks like a good move. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens with this because the Falcons defense last season, I think, was, I'm not going to say the only problem, but they were like almost last in sacks and things of that nature. So that's definitely not going to bode well as far as what you're trying to accomplish in this. And look, the NFC South's a winnable division, man. I think almost on a yearly basis, right? And you can say, well, that's every division's winnable. No, it's not. Do you think the AFC North is winnable or AFC West is winnable every single division by all 4 teams in that division? No. So, but what you're talking about the NFC South, that's one of the ones where, like, as you can look at the record wise of those over the past couple seasons, sans Tom Brady and Tampa Bay, I think you could see that it's winnable. It's winnable almost every season, man. And they were damn close. The Falcons had the lead in that division for a minute, beat Tampa Bay twice. And then when it came down to it, they ended up ultimately surrendering the division to them because they just kept losing games and the Buccaneers kept winning games. And it did not matter that they had a 2-0 record against them that started the season. Jeff Ulbrich also was talking about his time in New York, and he says he learned 2 lessons during his time as a New York Jets interim head coach that he plans to keep front of mind now as the Atlanta Falcons D coordinator. First off, the importance of truth telling. He says Ulbrich was the Jets defensive coordinator when Robert Saleh was fired as the head coach 5 games into the 2024 season. Ulbrich didn't expect his former fellow assistant coaches to treat him any differently after the makeshift promotion, though for the remaining 12 games, they did. He says, I feel like people with the greatest intentions were keeping things from me at times. Ulbrich told Falcons.com it was counterproductive. Ulbrich, who has otherwise served as an assistant coach since 2010, understood why his colleagues were perhaps distant themselves. He just didn't realize the detriment of it until it was on the receiving end. So bad times, bad experience. But all of that leads to good experience, I guess you could say, when it comes to when it comes to his new / old position with the Atlanta Falcons. So and this is coming from like draft picks. We got a first 15 pick. Where's that right there? And again, man, full team stats. 24 team stats points against. They're tied for 24.9 points again, tied for 23rd in the league. Yeah. So in any case, I look for Auburn to help. Right. I look for Auburn to make some changes there from where they were at last season. And again, barely missed the playoffs, man. Barely missed losing to South by. They lost it by one game. It could have been any one of those last few that they had. Probably the one against the Commanders, I would take that away, because if you see how far the Commanders got, you can sort of see that one. But I think when it came to the sort of the end of the season, the Carolina loss, where Carolina sort of came to Atlanta and kind of clapped them up right there, put up 44 points. I think that game at the end of the season was sort of the breaker that was, and then he had the game against Washington, which again, Washington, when you see that they beat them by 6 points, that Giants lost 34-7. That's a big one right there that I think led to they beat the Giants 34-7, my bad. And then Minnesota lost. So I think the Carolina loss is the only one where I could look back at that and say, I bet they really regret that one. Because again, Washington, tough ass to go to Washington and win like that, considering where Washington ended up at the end of the season. So, so new sign. So, yeah, and real quick, we'll pull up. Let's see. Look at these opponents for next season for the Falcons, man. Some home games for the Falcons. Obviously, Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers, and they got the Rams coming to Atlanta. Seahawks coming to Atlanta. Buffalo Bills coming to Atlanta. That's probably going to be a pretty packed game back there. Buffalo fans. I don't think they too often get to see the Falcons or their team make their way down south like this unless they're going to Miami. The Miami Dolphins is also, they're playing the Dolphins at home, and then they got the Commanders coming to Atlanta. That should be a very popular game right there. Dan Quinn making the return. Let's see. In the away games, Panthers, Saints, Bucks, playing the Cardinals, playing the 49ers in San Francisco, the Patriots and the Jets in their respective home, the Vikings and the Colts. Okay. So oh man, they're not matching up with the NFC North. Okay. That matches up anyway. So that it shows that they're matching up sort of with the AFC East, which that's why they're playing the Patriots and the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bills and things of that nature. And the Seattle Seahawks and the Rams playing the NFC North or West is sort of that other side of that part of the schedule. So that's their home and away opponents for next season. And let's take a quick break. You are listening to Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. When we come back, got a little bit of news with the Braves, some Hall of Fame stuff, and a nice signing, something that the Braves fans have been waiting to see, something of this nature come from AA when it comes to trying to improve our squad for next season. And we got some good news last week, so we'll talk about that in just a second. We should return in a minute. Be right back.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It's your boy ACS. Hope you guys are enjoying the show so far, having a good time. Let's jump into some Braves, right? Let's talk about the Atlanta Braves. Not much news going on right now. So of course, spring training is on the way. Next month, some games are starting up, and we're gonna get our first taste of what the boys are looking like from Florida when that thing starts. But anyway, we come talk about the Braves, man. Some news that came out last week, obviously, when it came to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Ichiro, CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner, ex-Brave, into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to these guys, first and foremost. Obviously, when you're talking about Ichiro, win, right? Like it was just a sort of just win. When was he gonna go in there, right? As soon as it possibly can, you knew you were gonna see Ichiro in there, CC Sabathia too. But Wagner, I think he had to wait a couple of cycles when it came to that. But yeah, man, had a career in Houston. It says he said it was like let's see where he at right now. Wagner, 422 career saves, 225 of which came with the Houston Astros, are the 8th most in big league history. In an era of strikeouts, few pitchers have been better at racking them up. Only 4 hurlers have a higher strikeout rate than Wagner. 33.2%, minimum 750 innings. His selection comes on his 10th and final appearance on the Baseball Hall of Fame ballot, earning 82.5% for the 7-time All-Star. He became the 9th pitcher in the Hall who has primarily a reliever. The first left-hander among them after Hoyt, Willem, Raleigh Fingers, and a host of others. Wagner was 47-40 with a 2.31 ERA for the Astros. Phillies, the Mets, Red Sox, and the Braves in 2010. His 11.9 strikeouts per 9 innings are the most among pitchers with at least 900 innings. Through his 903 career innings are the fewest among Hall of Famers. According to Wagner, who pitched at Tiny Ferrum College, he's also the first Division III pitcher to make it to Cooperstown. So congrats to Billy Wagner. 10th and final appearance, man. This baseball stuff is weird. Like when you start getting into like sort of seeing these players and like, once they become eligible for Hall of Fame consideration, like you got 10 years. And then after that, if you don't make it in with these votes, then which leads me to something else, right? Real quick conversation. Braves fans know Andrew Jones, man. It's Braves legend, right? Should be in the Hall already. I ran across this story because that sort of has made its way back to the top of Braves news right now too. Is the Andrew Jones conversation when it comes to the Hall? I think he only has one more year left of that 10-year eligibility to get in, and so you have to get like that 80% of the vote. And I think he is this last one. Let's see if they show how many times do you need to be great to become immortal, right? And it says this is on ESPN.com, and it says, did Andrew Jones play his way out of the Hall of Fame? It says more than ever before. That's the question that was weighing on my mind this winter as I progressed to 2025. Hall of Fame voting Player first 10 full seasons, 57.9 WAR. Remainder of career, 6 seasons, 4.7. First 10 full seasons. Before we reveal the players, let's put the measurements in some historical context. Like this is someone else right here. Let's see. Where is it? I'm on all official list requires possible inclusion for Jones and players like Henry. Biggest issue, the kind of James Dean, Marlon Brando problem, and one that behavioral scientists might refer to as difference between the experienced mind. Those who watched Jones dominate center field for all those years in Atlanta experienced something special during that time, a truly unique player. But last impressions and career numbers tend to dominate in the remembering mind, and we have easier access to that aspect of our memory. For Jones, we remember glimpses of what he was at the beginning, but can't let go of the player he was at the end. You know, he played for the A's. He went to a couple different squads at the end, and heck, we still do it with Babe Ruth. Let's see. Let's consider those 10-year measures again. Jones, 57.9% B WAR is mentioned, has a percentile rank of 99.5. To put it another way, only 0.5% of all players ever have had a better decade than Jones did, right? So when you add that in to a not all of those 77 got to Cooperstown because they did so much outside of that 10-year peak. Certainly some did. The upper tier members like Ruth, Walter Johnson, and Willie Mays. As a group, these 77 Hall of Famers compiled 75.3% of their career value during their 10-year peaks with few exceptions, right? Let me see if it says right here exactly what he's got. Let's see. It doesn't say, right? So I can't remember exactly. I had this shit written down, and I don't have it. It's where Jones was like, you have to have 80%, I believe, and he's somewhere in the 70%, right? But he's only got a year or two left eligibility. So it's going to be like, he has to get that number up to whatever the 82% is to get in there. And I don't know that that's going to happen considering where he's at right now. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, obviously people, old heads, because I mean, it's been a while since Andrew Jones has played baseball, right? So it's going to be people like myself, Braves fans, and older cats who probably going to remember the dominance of Andrew Jones, you know, back when he played with the Braves in that stretch of 10 years that they were talking about. In this article that I just read, you're gonna understand. Like, yeah, Andrew Jones should be in there, right? Dude was a Hall of Fame worthy player, and depending where you stand on other players, and I'm not gonna get into all that specifically, but there's probably a player or two that you probably feel that's in the Hall right now that Jones was better than, right? That's how all fans are gonna look at these kind of situations when they come up, but yeah, man. So let's see what happens. Let's see if he gets in. And real quick, last thing here with the Braves, Jurickson Profar. Braves agreed a 3-year, $42 million deal. Finally, Braves bring in somebody that's fire, son, from San Diego Padres, and bring him to the Braves, man. So outfielder Jurickson Profar and Atlanta Braves agreed on a 3-year, $42 million contract Thursday. This was last week, uniting the veteran coming off a career year with a team that has struggled in recent years to find a suitable left fielder. Profar, 31, was a revelation for the Padres, hitting 280, 380, and 459 with a career-high 24 home runs and 85 RBIs. Once the top prospect in all of baseball, Profar made his first all-star team and won a Silver Slugger, all in a 1-year, $1 million deal. He cashed in with the Braves, who outbid a number of teams interested in Profar's on-base skill as well as his energy that invigorated Padres supporters and infuriated rival fan bases, right? So Profar will join. Center fielder Michael Harris II, right fielder Ronald Acuna Jr., the 2023 National League MVP coming off a torn ACL just 3 years after tearing the ligament in his right knee. Without Acuna, for most of last season, the Braves often suffered a deep regression from 2023 when they set a single-season team record with a .501 slugging percentage, right? So this is going to help. I mean, obviously anything is going to help, considering what happened last season. But when you have like Acuna coming back, who's probably going to miss, the first part of the season because it's still rehabbing that injury, which we did see some slinging, hitting him some balls right there from your boy. It says the switch hitter Profar can slot almost anywhere in the lineup, though he figures to begin the season toward the top as Acuna continues to rehab his knee. Beyond Harris and Acuna, Atlanta's lineup includes all-star third baseman Austin Riley, second baseman Ozzie Albies, and first baseman Matt Olson. Profar will receive $12 million this year and $15 million in 26 and 27. Atlanta is typically one of the most aggressive teams in baseball, striking early in free agency with trades, and after trading Sloger, Jorge Soler in late October, the Braves dabbled in minor league deals and watched the starter Max Fried went to the New York Yankees, Morton went to the Orioles, and reliever A.J. Minter went to the Mets, right? As we sat here as Braves fans watching all of these cats walk, and you're just like, bruh, what we doing, AA? Come on, Anthopoulos, what we doing? So finally, right now, we get to see a little bit of what he has for us behind the curtain. with Profar. Nice signing. Nice signing. I'm excited as a Braves fan, right? Excited. Braves fans are excited about this. And it's good to see some kind of buzz social media-wise positively when it comes to the Braves and not just this dude's leaving. This dude's leaving. We didn't want to sign this dude. He's leaving. And so you left looking at your team like, yo, what is this? So here again, Profar is Atlanta's first real addition this winter after sneaking into the postseason at 89-73 and promptly getting swept by San Diego. He has spent all 11 years of his major league career in the West Division, debuted at 19 with the Texas Rangers. Profar never fulfilled his potential there and went to Oakland in 2019 before settling with the Padres, where he became a full-time outfielder. Over 1,119 games in his career, Profar has hit 245, 301, 395, 111 home runs, and 444 RBIs and 4,291 plate appearances. It also helps that he's a massive Braves fan when he was a kid. You come to see that there's a lot of, and I think it had to do with the broadcasting. Turner Broadcasting, you got to see a lot of Braves games, out of market Braves games. Like if you lived in Atlanta, but like across the country, people were able to see a lot of Braves games where that's not the norm when it comes to baseball and sort of, the areas of the country that you live in. It's normally specific to that. But when you're talking about the Braves, they were shown a lot. And there is a lot of young baseball players that when they were kids, they looked up to the Braves because of some of the players that they had. Andrew Jones, one of them, and things of that nature. And they wanted to play on the Braves when they if they ever got into the majors. And a lot of them didn't get the opportunity. And Profar now has that opportunity to play for the Braves, and I expect him to go hard for him, man. I expect to see Profar do some very, very good things when it comes to the Braves next season. So exciting right there. Exciting. As I said, it's kind of wild to see that this far, and there hadn't been anything really done yet when it came to the Braves in the offseason and not trying to find nobody. Like, what are we doing here? We're just gonna let everybody leave. You see how the season ended last year. Like, I know we got Acuna coming back, but he can't play but one position, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the way Braves fans is looking at any kind of like the lack of movement. It's that old meme with the stick poking the Braves, like, y'all gonna do anything? And so finally did something. So here it is. Let's jump to some Georgia talk, man. Let's jump to Georgia real quick. I know it's the season's over with. Obviously, college football playoff. Didn't get a chance to talk about it. Congrats to Ohio State for winning the college football playoff national championship last week. Like I told you guys, my thoughts were after once Georgia got put out, I was like, yo, this is Ohio State's to win. Like I'm not like exactly rooting for them, but if Georgia's not playing, then I happen to think that the best team left in there is Ohio State, right? And it was. It ended up being that for them. Notre Dame, good season. It's pretty rough though. Ohio State's a good football team, man. Very, very good football team. So here's that. Let's get this up here. All right, let's get these things popping. First of all, talk about some of the transfer, man. Georgia transfer portal. Obviously, when you see leaving the biggest glaring one. Let me see. Get this up here so y'all can see what I'm talking about with these transfers, man. Georgia transfer. See Carson Beck transferred out to University of Miami. Damon Wilson to Missouri. But let's talk about the ones that came here. Michael Bell, right? Came from Vandy to Georgia. Let's see Texas A&M, Noah Thomas right here. Georgia snags Texas A&M wide receiver Noah Thomas from the transfer portal. I talked about that, I think, a few weeks ago. From UAB right here. UAB transfer DB Adrian Maddox flips commitment from Florida to Georgia. Right. Jaden Harris coming from Miami to Georgia. Losing Jake Pope to UNLV. Anthony Evans, Georgia wide receiver Anthony Evans, trying to enter NCAA transfer portal. So like, was that SMU, Mississippi State? And then Zion Branch, man, USC transfers Zachariah Zion Branch commit to Georgia, which is nice to see that right there. Here he goes right here again, too. Both of those brothers coming from USC to Georgia, going from the West Coast to the East Coast to the dirty South, which is always nice to see. Jaden Harris, Miami safety, goes to transfer portal, goes to Georgia, 100%. And so that's just a couple of the transfers we got. Zachariah Branch, I'll take this back down right here, that we got coming into next season. That's kind of exciting. Look. I talked about it when sort of talking about the University of Georgia and what sort of happens when you see the NIL stuff really sort of take over. And look, the University of Georgia's last time they won a national championship a few seasons ago, that team alone had 20 players in the playoffs in the NFL this year. That team, not the University of Georgia, but that team that beat TCU by 60 points in the Natty, they had 20 players in the playoffs in the NFL this year, off of one team. that I think that Georgia team will probably be the last pure college football team that we see going from here on out when it comes to college football, because it's already been talked about on all the networks. And I talked about it here a couple weeks ago when it comes to the way that the players leave teams. You're no longer going to find a team like you could back in the day from the SEC that's going to have like 3 starters on the same position, right? Everybody on your bench is a 5-star. That's just not going to happen anymore. Players aren't going to wait anymore. If they're not going to get the start year one, they're just going to take their talents to another team and get paid $1 million to do it, which I don't blame them. Because if you want the exposure, if you want to one day play in the National Football League, and if you want your talents utilized if you bet on yourself. So with that being said, it's going to be harder and harder for schools like Georgia to dominate year in and year out, because other teams can now sort of pick up that same talent without having to recruit them like you did. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a simple thing, and it's what's moving the needle when it comes to Georgia. And so that's why it's the last pure football team, man. If you're talking about a squad that has 20 players in the playoffs in the NFL in one season, dude, that's a lot. That's insane, man. That's insane. So also let's take a look at the depth chart, man. Georgia's depth chart next season. If you want to take a look at that first, at quarterback thus far, got Gunnar Stockton is number 1 right there. Running back, Nate Frazier, Branson Robinson, Dwight Phillips Jr., Bo Walker, right there. And then if you're talking about tight end, Oscar Delp, who decided to come back, Jaden Riddle, Colton Heinrich, Elias Williams. It's crazy, man. After the previous sort of recent memory seasons we've had with tight ends at Georgia, you got your Brock Bowers and shit, Washington, who went to the Steelers. Like, those kind of players they kind of spoil you when it comes to, because none of these names on this tight end list are really like jumping out at me. So you're gonna have to make a name for themselves on the field, and hopefully they can do that. Wide receiver, Noah Thomas, Dylan Bell, Nitro Tuggle, obviously CJ Wiley, Dylan Bell. I think it's hopefully he makes some improvements. Good player, good receiver. But last season, there was a couple instances where I felt like he could have been better, right? That's a slight look at the some of the depth chart that we have in here. And then real quick, let's take a look at this. Is the way too early top 25. I'm not going to go through all of these, but they got number 1, obviously Ohio State moving into next season. Number 2, Texas Longhorns. And then rightful so, Georgia fans, I feel you guys. We have a right to be like, yo, how you gonna put us behind Texas? We'll beat them twice this season, right? I think, and Texas is also losing their quarterback. I don't see Mitch Ewers coming back. I think they're ready to move on to Arch Manning, right? So Texas number 2, Penn State number 3. They got them right there. Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 4. See, they got Notre Dame in the 2 early preseason rankings for next season, ranked ahead of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame ranked behind. They beat Penn State. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Anyway, and number 5, they got Georgia right there, 11-3, 6-2 the SEC. Key returning players, Stockton, Frazier, Oscar Delp, like I was saying, Lawson Lucky, CJ Allen, Raylan Wilson, KJ Bolden, Dylan Everett, and the key losses, obviously, Trevor Etienne, Tate Ratledge, man, Carson Beck, Jalen Walker, Malachi Starks, just Smile London, just it's just some guys, some stalwarts that have been with them dogs for like the past 3 or 4 seasons, right? Oregon is at number 6 in the way too early rankings, and got the Clemson Tigers at number 7, and number 8 the LSU Tigers, and then you got BYU Cougars at number 9, and then to round out the top 10 in this way too early is the South Carolina Gamecocks, 9-4 record, 5-3 in the SEC. So that's just a little bit. That's about all I got right now for Georgia. I mean, it's again, there's not much out there right now, and sort of the spring game is coming up in April, and we'll be talking about that stuff, I'm sure, when that time gets here, and there's some stuff like that out there too, man. So yeah, we looked at the transfer portal and things of that nature. Not really nothing on Tech, man. Tech doesn't really have anything out there news wise to really jump into. I promise, how I am when some stuff does come up that's we sure we'll get to that. Let's jump to the Hawks, man. Let's jump to the Hawks. Yo, 6-game losing streak right now. Excuse me. Let me take a drink real quick. 6-game losing streak for the Hawks right now, man. Not doing real good. So we've had some key dubs earlier on in this season, and 22-25 record, 3rd in the Southeast. Last 2 games, what is this? Not the last 2 games. I had to get to that real quick. Last 2 games, basically, let's look at it right quick. Yeah. 6-game losing streak, man. It started against the New York Knicks, 119-110. Then against Detroit, 114-104, all the way down to last night's game against the Houston Rockets. They lost 100-96. Kind of had a flurry to make a comeback at the end of that game, but as you can see, it fell 4 points short. And excuse me, damn, my voice is getting real raggedy right now. And then we got a lot of injuries, man. Reece Shea, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Clint Capella, Trae Young is day-to-day. They're just on a plan right now. We've got injuries, and it's sort of hurting the team just a little bit, as you can see with a 6-game losing streak. Putting us as three back pretty much, or 2 games back of Miami. Nobody in the Southeast is actually doing well. If you look at Miami at a 23-22 record, Orlando is 24-24, right at 500. Charlotte, Washington, and respectively down at the bottom. So it's pretty rough for the Southeastern division in the NBA this season, man. So next game at the Cavs tomorrow night, 7 p.m. As we see what happens, wait to see what happens with the Jimmy Butler situation, who wants out, obviously suspended indefinitely by the Miami Heat for, just not wanting to be there no more. I mean, I don't know. I wonder how that works, honestly, if I'm being real. Like, how does that, you just walk in and decide, man, I don't want to play for y'all no more, man. Y'all ain't showing me championship vibes in this locker room, bro. I want to move on, man. That's crazy work, man. But hey, to each his own, man. To each his own. The Hawks right now averaging 115.3 points per game, 45.4 rebounds per game, 29 assists per game. And I think Trae Young still leads the league in assists, and I think there's nobody even close when it comes to that. But Hawks, man, gonna have to get it together, man. Again, they play the Cavaliers tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on TNT. They are sort of and the Cavs are league leaders, right? Right, you know what I'm saying? So, like, this is going to be a tough game, and I don't know if any of these guys, whether it be Capella or Bogdanovic or Reece Shea, that would make their way back to that game tomorrow night. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think they're still going to be missing games for injury purposes and things of that nature. So, Larry Nance, yeah, it's rough sledding, man. It's rough sledding. There's a couple of key victories that in there. The Hawks, they beat the Celtics earlier this season, but of course the Celtics have started the season off very good, and then since then they've sort of fallen off to like a below 500 record this last couple months. After starting the season with that, there's like 24-4, so something weird like that. They were way up there, and now their records now. So they're sort of on the slide as of recently, and that was the last dub we got, man. Last dub the Atlanta Hawks ran across right there was that one against the Celtics early this month. And so that's got some work to do, man. Got some work to do. And I don't even see them in the market for trying to get Jimmy Butler, man. Wonder how much they have to give up to get him, man. That's a lot, bro. They had to give up a lot to get Jimmy Butler, man. I think but I think the Heat have backed down off their price too. It was kind of high at first, of course. You went out of here, we're gonna make teams pay. And now you look at now I think it's you're going to see him go for something he wouldn't have never went for last week, basically, when it talks about Jimmy Butler going. So Atlanta Hawks, I need to make my way to a game this season too, man. I hadn't been yet. If I should get the opportunity, I will. And again, the Hawks next game is tomorrow night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And again, the Cavs are at the top of the league record-wise. So that's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game, man, for sure. Some more Atlanta stuff, man. I don't have a tab yet made. For that sort of the Atlanta Dream, man. The Atlanta Dream sort of making a couple moves if you pay attention to WNBA basketball. First of all, shouts out, man. For the second season in a row, the Atlanta Dream sell out tickets, man, preseason tickets. This was before the big signing that came yesterday. And I'll talk about that in just a second here. But yes, the Atlanta Dream has sold out season tickets for the second year in a row. Bring that up real quick just to give you a little show y'all right there. Let the tickets sold out for the Dream. That's cool to see, man. That's cool to see. And I guess that just rightfully so, considering what happened the very next day. Brittany Griner joining the Dream after 11 seasons with the Mercury. After 11 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury, the 10-time WNBA All-Star Brittany Griner has agreed to a one-year deal with the Atlanta Dream. Sources told ESPN. Griner, who has spent her entire career in Phoenix, after being drafted number 1 overall in 2013, heads to Atlanta and heads to Atlanta, one of the most stunning free agency signings in league history. Griner announced the move in a video posted on Instagram on Tuesday night. The signing can't be made official until Saturday when contracts are allowed to be signed. So free agency has been everything I wanted it to be. Griner said in a video, I was able to find where I wanted to go. And honestly, what led me to that decision ultimately was the team, the players as individuals, and then also my family. Griner's departure marks the beginning of a new era for the Mercury, who could also be without Diana Taurasi for the first time in 2 decades if she decides to retire. Obviously, they're not going to do anything with Taurasi. Taurasi and Griner won the franchise's 3rd and most recent championship in 2014. You know, it was a hard decision. Griner said, you're leaving what you know, what I've known for my whole career, but there's also the exciting factor of like, okay, this is a rebrand now. I get to show them something different. The 6'9" center missed the 2022 campaign when she was wrongfully detained in Russia. I think we all believe that. That sort of held the sports world a little bit of, I ain't gonna say hostage, but it was a cloud over the sports world for quite some time. She was eventually freed in a high-profile prisoner exchange. Griner averaged 17.8 points and 6 rebounds per game in 2024. Griner, a 6-time All-WNBA selection, goes to Atlanta as the biggest free agent signing in franchise history. She joins the team also headlined by Ryan Howard, drafted first of all by the Dream in 2022, and Elisa Gray, for whom Atlanta traded for in 2023. The franchise moved on this offseason from former coach Tanisha Wright and hired Carl Smesko from Florida Gulf Coast University to lead the team. The Aces also looked at signing Griner, but their long-standing effort to find another big to play alongside Adrian Wilson, but after acquiring former Seattle star Jewel Lloyd. So, yeah, welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta, Brittany. Look forward to sort of seeing what you have, man, to 2025 schedule. For the Atlanta Dream, which kicks off on May 16th against Washington, right, at 7:30 p.m. So, yeah, looking forward to it, man. We'll see what happens with Atlanta this year, man. That bolsters the team, man. To 24 team stats, 77 points per game, 36.1 rebounds per game, 18.4 assists per game. So, yeah, man. Shouts out Atlanta Dream for selling out the season again, and shouts out to Brittany Griner, man, newest addition to the Dream. Let's see what that looks like on the season next year, and let's talk about Georgia, man. One time before we wrap the show up, before we bounce, University of Georgia college basketball team, I think, run into some rough spots, man. They I think the as far as the team goes. They're showing some bright spots early in the season. Finally got ranked after 10 years, right? The Georgia Bull, or after about 14 seasons out there, I think, that Georgia hadn't been ranked in college basketball. And we finally got ranked at number 24 and then started getting the cheeks clapped off us, man. To start getting clapped up, right? As soon as we make it to the 24 ranking after beating number 17 Oklahoma by 10 at home, UGA lost to Tennessee, number 6 Tennessee. And look, by all stretches, we lost to some teams that are like highly ranked, right? I can't sit here and say that we're getting blown out by some busters, right? But we are getting beat by the teams that, if you're going to you want to gauge the climate of your team, we're getting beat by good teams, man. And that's just something I can't deny, right? So right here, you got it. We lost to number 6 Tennessee, number 1 Auburn, who is still number 1. Auburn's got a good basketball team. So does Tennessee. I saw a game between them the other day. It was pretty good. We lost against Arkansas 68-65. And then against number 5 Florida, right, 89-59. And then we beat South Carolina 71-60 to end that 4-game losing streak, which, you know, right now, as we sit back here, we're sort of, we're not putting it right here. We are 12th in the SEC with a 15-6 record, 4 games back of Auburn right now, who is number 1 in the country. So, you know, let's see what's going to happen with them. But we got some work to do, man. But, you know, good signs, good streaks, good things. I mean, becoming ranked for the first time and then instantly not being ranked is crazy stuff. You hate to see that as a fan of your basketball team, but it is what it is, man. Young team. And again, Georgia's basketball team, normally isn't in the higher echelon of college basketball teams, but we're trying to make our way there this year, and it's going to be a struggle. Obviously, when you're playing against teams like that, we do have a chance. However daunting it might be, because our next game is February 1st against number 4 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide, playing them Bama boys. Not the same type of rivalry that you're accustomed to when it comes to college football, but nonetheless, February 1st at what time is that? Time 4 p.m. We're playing Alabama, which is that's Saturday, I believe. Yeah, Saturday, playing Alabama. So let's see what we can do there. Maybe we can beat them. I doubt that will get us ranked again, because I don't know where we stand since we're out of the top 25. But, it's It is what it is, man. Maybe we make it there. Maybe we don't, man. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. Well, let's go. Let's beat Bama. This is also a lopsided history in this one too. Bama's clapped us up pretty good in college basketball in recent years. So anyway, guys, that's going to be the show. That wraps it up for me. It's your boy ACS. This is Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Enjoy the sports this weekend. We'll see if the Hawks can get off of this slide, bro. 6 games. Let's see. And again, both Georgia and the Hawks basketball teams are trying to come out of the darkness against good teams. Number 4 Alabama and the best team in the league, the Cleveland Cavaliers, is not nothing to shake a tail feather at. But anyway, we'll see if that gets happen. We'll see if that improves, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's your boy ACS. You have been watching / listening to Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Y'all.